Hi everyone, it's Tran Bowie. Tonight I'm actually going live from my personal page because I want to show you a behind the scenes look at a photo shoot, actually live on location at my house. Also going live, Brock is over here for Chelsea Patricia's photography. So I have to say, I chopped my hair off and then all my professional shots ended up being outdated. So it was time to get some new shots. And I have been admiring this lady from afar because her photos are magical. I mean, I'm telling you, you've got to go onto her page and see. And I personally thought that she was just doing big business projects all the time. And a lot of my friends started using her to do their shots, and so it was just time. And so, Chelsea, thank you so much for doing this.
You're so welcome. I had a blast.
Oh my gosh, we were everywhere. We were in the streets. My husband's out there playing cornhole. The neighbor comes over all dressed up in some Halloween getup. The yard people are out there. All this stuff is going on, and Chelsea is the professional. I love how you use your space.
Oh, well, thank you. I learned really quickly to be able to shoot in any space I'm given. A lot of times when I started in weddings, I would be given a church fellowship hall closet to shoot in, and I had to make brides look beautiful with plastic chairs lined up behind them. And so I learned very quickly to be able to shoot in any space and in any light by controlling the light, controlling the pose, and being in charge of the space.
Well, I want to show you around our room. We actually did most of the shots outside, but in here she has lit it up so we're able to have this shoot here. So Chelsea, how has it been for you since the quarantine? I know for me, my projects just went away and it's finally starting to come back.
Completely disappeared for like 3 or 4 months there. So being a face-to-face business and something that you can't really do virtually, I went 3 or 4 months without an income, and I couldn't even market because I didn't know when I would be able to shoot again. So I had to do a lot of pivoting and figuring out what to do in the meantime, but finally it's picking back up. We feel like we're in the clear a little bit, and we're being really careful with everything that we do and taking into account, everyone's safety. But that being said, at least we're able to produce that marketing collateral for either small businesses to big businesses so that they can start coming back from this too.
Yeah, and I didn't tell you that Chelsea's actually a model and influencer in Atlanta also. So I have to say, I was a little nervous because she looks good doing the dishes. And here I am like, what do I need to do? So let's talk about the tips, the secrets to having a great photo shoot, because I think a lot of times we have nice cameras or we have a cool phone and we have all these apps and filters and everything, but it is really professional photographers really make a difference.
And a lot of that isn't in the equipment, like you said. A lot of that is in having someone to pose you, to direct you, to make you feel comfortable. Because a lot of times when you get the camera turned on you, you don't really know what to do. It's not like a cell phone and you're out drinking with your friends. You're just like, what do I do with my hands, right? So having someone there who's going to go, okay, turn your face in this direction, then move your hips in this direction. And even from the very start, dress like this or use these colors or make sure you get your makeup professionally done, and also injecting you with confidence throughout the shoot. That's the key. That's a really big difference in professional photography. Isn't just the quality of the photos, but the direction that you're getting during the photo shoot, which I think you're kind of familiar with now, right?
Well, I got a nice tutorial today. So let's start with, I've hired you to take my picture. Right. What do I need to wear?
I will first of all say, pull from your closet or go shopping, whatever you want to do. If you need an excuse to go shopping, things that make you feel confident. So if it's something that someone else says, you look so good, and you're like, I don't know, don't wear that. What you want is your confidence to show through. So the things that make you feel pretty or sexy or energetic or really show your personality, that's what I want you to go to first. And then what I'll do is look at those outfits. You can text them to me, email them to me, however, and I'll say, you know what, this one's not really going to photograph that well. I say we lean towards this one and this one. A lot of times I'm going to be also taking into account what kind of business you're doing, what your personality is, what your entire aesthetic is that you're going for. I'll look at your website, see what colors you use, and try to incorporate those in a way that you have a consistent aesthetic across the board.
I love that. And even for our photo shoot, I didn't realize how this mic would be used as a prop and just like doing it beautifully to where it's not awkward. Okay, so colors. What colors do we need to wear?
It depends on the person, it depends on the skin tone, and honestly, anything can work for you. It really depends on your skin tone. So it's going to be, and you probably know those colors already because you've already started wearing them in your day-to-day life and you're like, this is my color, this is what looks good on me. So veer towards those things. Really, any color works. It's just going to be a matter of what works for you. And I'll help you with that.
Yeah, and that's what I love is that Chelsea has been in front of the camera, behind the camera, done the editing. She's all over. So she knows exactly, and I love that it's so easy to ask you questions. Okay, so should we find an outfit that's just like totally out there?
Yes and no. If you're doing a photo shoot and you're saying, I need something different, I'm so bored with just standard headshots. Yes, one of the like 3 outfits we use, I would say, let's go overboard. Let's do high fashion. Let's do something that you've never done because you'll have fun with it and we'll be safe with like a suit and 2 other shots, right? But if that's not your personality at all, I've had clients who are like, I would never, ever in a million years. I'm like, you don't have to. Do what is comfortable for you. Push your boundaries a little bit, but it doesn't have to be to where my boundaries are because I don't really have any. So like you don't have to go that wild. Just be a little bit wild for you with at least one of your outfit choices and push yourself and really have fun.
Yeah, and I find like those are the ones are just like the wow pictures. Okay, so this is the thing my girlfriends and I are always talking about, how you just know how to pose. I mean, even for group shots, I'm like, okay, what do I do with my hands? I don't want it on my hips anymore. What do I, how do I stand? And then there's the leg thing. And then today you were telling me to like stand a certain way, stick my bottom out, put my chin out, all these things. I know there's a reason for this madness. So tell us about posing.
Okay, so I'll give you a brief kind of posing course. It's going to depend on the lens that you're using or where the shot is being framed. So there were several things I was having you do, and I could tell you're like, my bottom half looks so awkward. I'm like, I'm not even getting that. Don't worry about it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking through the lens, and I'm saying, okay, if we shift this shoulder down, it's almost like if you ever played with Barbies growing up. You're doing that. That's what I do, is you're my life-size Barbie for a photo shoot, and you're just literally aesthetically looking and going, this looks better, this looks better. But some of the keys are you want to shift your weight away from the camera. So especially with women, we're kind of bottom heavy, right? And what you want to do is shift your hips away from the camera. They get smaller, and then your face is closer to the camera, right? And then what that does, everything else gets smaller. This is the focal point, and you're not really noticing all of this. It just kind of lines up. You also don't want to be straight. Straight is very it gives you that kind of awkward feeling in pictures. When you look at it and you're like, something's off. What you want is curves, especially for women. So I'm talking about women especially right now. So what you want to do instead of straight, you drop in a knee and bring it across. So I just created an in curve, in curve, and then we want to go out again. Or if you go to the side, you don't want to be straight here. Give it a little pop there, pop it up, and like that.
Okay, that's how she looks. So when you see mine, if I look like I'm doing the chicken dance.
She looks the exact same. It works for everyone. You just have to, you'll get used to it. And I'll tell you, this comes from hours of looking at myself in the mirror. So that's how I know what works and what doesn't.
Well, it's working. It's working. Okay, so can I just ask, women have been doing this hand on hip. Can you please give us another pose?
Yes. So it does work, especially when you're trying to pose 20 people at once. Sure, it works, because what it does, the reason people do that is when your arm is pressed against your body, it makes this spread out and looking larger than it actually is. So people found that you go like this, and then everything's separated out and it's hiding most of your body. But what you can do, the major point of that one, is the knee that's towards the camera goes bent. Okay. So what that does is it pushes your weight away. So already this looks slimmer. And then what you want to do is anything that you're doing, keep in mind that this stays down. That way this, you can lean, right? So that way I can lean into you. And you can just put your hand here, but you don't want a straight arm. Straight arms look awkward. Just a little bend. Always a little bend. So you can be here, a little bend. Here, a little bend. Here, a little bend. Here. And see how I drop the shoulder down so I'm open. So my face is open. And and this shoulder comes up because it's not covering my face. Does that make sense?
Yes. It makes sense, but I need you to be my mirror when we do that.
That's what I do when I'm posing you, right? So I'm like, okay, so this foot, I'm your mirror, bring this foot out and drop it this way, right? Booty goes back and then back this way. So posing is just like I'm the mirror and she does what I do.
All right, you're going to have to follow me around everywhere. Thank you so much for your advice and just making this such a fun shoot, because for me, I know I'm in the business, but having to do photo shoots, I feel like I'm, an imposter because I don't know what I'm doing. So that was so much fun. And I just learned so much about good lighting. And so quickly, talk about the lighting.
I was going to tell you, I have one last tip that is it's the best one that you can use anytime. No matter what you're doing with your body, find where the light is coming from and put your nose to it. So what that means, if you don't know where the light is coming from, like you can't really tell, you're like, where is it? I take my hand and I spin in a circle. And whenever my hand is the brightest, the light is coming from the opposite direction. And I bring my nose to that light. So you'll see here, the light's here, right? So if I turn away from it, then I'm kind of like, I have a dark shadow on this side. Sorry, I forgot you had to use the mic. But if I bring my nose to it, then what we have is this lovely fall off. It lights both your eyes. And then you have this fall off where you have like a shadow right there. So even if you're like in a photo and everyone's like, everyone look at the camera, don't look away from the light. Bring your face to the light and make it work for you.
She knows her stuff.
Nose to the light. That's my key point.
Nose to the light, stick your booty back, put your...
Yep. That's it. Nose to the light, booty back.
All right. Thank you so much again. This was so much fun. All right, everyone, I put her information on the post, so please follow her. You are going to be so impressed with her photos and just her beauty. Like, she's just fun. She's always like doing great things. And I'm constantly learning and just admiring all the work that you're doing. So thanks.
So much, Tran. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Good night, everyone.
Thanks.